I think all our scholars have already connected themselves. So in the series, in this COVID, in the lecture series, we keep introducing you some experts in different fields. So today, Ranga Saab is our expert, and he will be speaking on planning of cities and industries post-COVID planning. So I'll request first Director Saab to introduce Rangaji.
Thank you so much, Dr. Devinder Singh ji. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, on behalf of DIC, I welcome our guest speaker, Shri Mahendra Rangaji. Shri Mahendra Rangaji is a IRS officer of 1990 batch. Sir has tenanted various important assignments in his career, like before moving as a principal commissioner of Central GST at Lucknow, he was posted in Delhi as DDG Customs and Excise. Shri Mahendra Rangaji is very fond of traveling at places of historical importance, and I believe he loves photography and captures moments with deep meaning very vividly. He is quite an academician. He is a very qualified person. He has done BTech, BCom, LLB, and LLM. Shri Mahendra Rangaji is a great philanthropist. He is a true citizen of this great nation. He believes in giving back to the society by guiding young minds. He is also running career guidance series, and he is behind the success of many young people who have made it to elite UPSC civil service examination under his guidance. I now invite Shri Mahendra Rangaji to enlighten all of us with his thoughts and foresight on post-COVID city and industrial planning in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and namaste everyone. I'm very glad to have been given this opportunity to interact with a galaxy of eminent people. At the outset, I would like to state that the views that I'm going to express are my personal views, and there is no government sanction for these views. Dr. Devinder Singh has mentioned that he has been organizing talks by various experts. For a change, the person before you is not an expert in this subject, but I am a traveler. I have been observing various phenomena. I've been comparing how we carry out certain activities and the difficulties that people face. And these views should be considered as views of a curious observer or a curious traveler, as you may say. The topic is very relevant in these times, post-COVID city and industrial planning. I have divided these steps into two parts. Number one, for future, we have to consider ways and means that pandemics like COVID don't occur. To what extent it is complete in our hands, that is an open question. But these pandemics, these outbreaks are becoming quite too frequent, and that's a cause of concern. We had the outbreak of Nipah virus, swine flu, other coronaviruses. So these are becoming frequent, more frequent than they have been in the recorded history of humankind. So there have to be certain factors behind them which are leading to these outbreaks. And we have to go into those reasons, and we have to try to prevent those factors, the causes which are leading to these outbreaks. My study indicates that the outbreaks are mostly starting from China, from a particular market where the wildlife is being sold. So apparently there is a connection with wildlife. There have been many experts who are confirming to these fears that the loss of wildlife is leading to these outbreaks, and many of these viruses, they have their source into the wildlife. And this jumping from animals to humans is taking place because the wildlife is being destroyed by us. Then there are environmental factors also, especially the loss of forests. So if we have to prevent the outbreak of similar virus, then we have to become more careful about nature, and we have to align our ways, ourselves, our thoughts more with nature if we have to prevent such outbreaks in future. We have been using a term "save the planet." That is a misnomer. The planet will be there even if we are there or not. We must. The slogans should change to "save yourself." If we have to save ourselves, then we have to save wildlife and we have to save environment. And all these steps are better left to more experts. But certain measures are before us, and they can be captured under the broad category of sustainable development and sustainable methods. So sustainable development has to capture center stage in a big way in our thoughts, in our planning, in the way we conduct ourselves, the way we live our lives. We should not disturb nature and try to gel with the nature rather than trying to disturb it. Waste disposal, clean air, these are important requirements. Humankind has to think of ways that the waste can be disposed of. I'm surprised to see several reports that after COVID outbreak, many of these masks, they have found ways to the oceans, and they have already started affecting the marine life. So something is seriously wrong with our waste disposal methods. So far as sustainable development is concerned, I would like to leave it here. But this is an area which we can't ignore for long, and this has to gather momentum. We have to. This has to go beyond the academics at the implementation stage. Another cause that is being assigned to the outbreak of these viruses is new technologies like 5G. I've seen articles both in favor of it and against it. There are some experts who say that it has no linkage with technology, the 5G, whereas some seem to suggest that there is a link. I don't know what is the truth, but we need more research on it. And if there is any linkage, then that has to be explored, and maybe certain technologies and their introduction will have to wait to save the humankind and to save life. Coming to the planning part and redesigning of industrial cities and infrastructure, first of all, the word planning we will have to incorporate in our ways and in our thinking. If we have a look at the towns and the cities, there seem to be a complete absence of planning in the towns. The planning seems to be restricted only to bigger towns, and that is only in a limited way. Even small things like signage, I see that we don't seem to have either created the standards or we are not following it. It happens so often that while I'm traveling on the road, I miss the signage, and by the time you see it and you have to take your maneuver, you are already past it. So the planning seems to be absent in the block level towns. The district level towns are simply exploding without any planning. There is either there is a patchy development or each one to himself. Although on record, I hear about master plans, about states, master plans, about cities, but the master plans don't seem to be being followed. I was looking into master plan of Delhi, and it transpired that what was envisaged 20 years hence, that the events fast forwarded themselves. So our assumptions are proving to be wrong behind several of our plans. So number one, we have to introduce more of planning. The old adage of management planning to fail is failing to plan. If we don't plan, then we are going to fail. After we start planning, we observe that a lot of the planning that we can envisage goes against our standard human behavior. While humans are emotional beings, we are social beings, we tend to congregate. So far, the planning congregated us, brought us together, but control over such pandemics, we have to scatter ourselves, we have to move away from each other, and we may not be mentally, psychologically prepared for that. So the planning will have to incorporate, will have to encompass not only the infrastructural aspects, but also the psychological and mental aspects of it. Coming to the infrastructural aspects, I will first try to touch industry, and then I will go to the cities. I observed that so far as development of industrial infrastructure is concerned, we have mostly concentrated on the industry part. We have industrial areas and related infrastructure like banks. So that is provided by the government, but the residential part, because if there is an industrial area, then a lot of workers are going to be there, a lot of managers are going to be there, other skilled people are going to be there. That seems to have been left to private endeavors, private initiatives. But those private initiatives have worked in a haphazard manner and do not seem to meet the requirements. The private initiatives are leading to exploitation of labor. We have seen people cramped in small accommodation and paying high rents. The rents in the industrial towns are very heavy, and the workers are known to be paying around 30% to 40% of their total earnings for the rents. That is certainly high. So I will suggest an integrated approach to industrial planning, where an industrial town must not only take care of the industrial infrastructure, but also the infrastructure that will cater to the manpower, the people who are working there. So an integrated approach. We must earmark area for industry. We must also earmark areas for residential areas, for managers, for middle level people, and also for the workers. And a certain minimum level of accommodation for workers must be, should be provided by the state, so that there is no exploitation. And they can, everyone should get a minimum space. And the manpower, the people working there should not get into cramped spaces. So decongesting is going to be the key planning parameter in post-COVID scenario. The living with such pandemic, or in that situation, which I'll say enduring with the pandemic, will also require working from home. Working from home, I have been speaking to various people, and the general view is, although we can deal with any emergency in working from home, but it brings down efficiency. So working from home will have to be provided within the planning infrastructure for emergencies in normal times, and also during outbreak of any such pandemic or epidemics. Another area that I think is linked to industrial planning is our business models. In all our, when we market India as a destination for investment, we say cheap labor is available. And I have been reading the interviews of these workers who were moving away from towns, and most of them were stating their salaries to be below 10,000 rupees. I did not come across many people who stated wages more than 10,000. I'm assuming that they were stating the truth. These figures, they not only fall below the minimum wages, they also present a very sorry state of affairs. We can't have business models which are based on exploitation of labor. The business models must have more business competitiveness built into that, and we need to do something about that. The small entrepreneurs, maybe we need to enhance their skills. Some private initiatives, hand holdings, they have to be planned. And I think that people above 70 who are entrepreneurs, they must hold hands for the new entrepreneurs who are coming into the scene. Although no entrepreneur ever retires, but I expect that some of them will take back seat after 70 and give some effort for the younger generation. In business, scaling is a very important requirement. If you can't scale, then the profits lag. So our effort should be that the middle and the small entrepreneurs, they are able to scale up their businesses so that the reliance on cheap labor has to be reduced. As long as there is going to be cheap labor, we are going to have ghettos, we are going to have slums, and the attendant problems. It has been observed that during any outbreak of any epidemic, areas which are highly congested are more prone, more vulnerable to the problems than areas where more space is there. So higher the space and better is our capability to handle such epidemics. That also requires decongestion of industrial areas. As of now, the industrial activity is concentrated into certain pockets of the certain regions of the country, within those regions into certain pockets and within certain cities. So the industrial activity has to be decongested and taken to other parts of India for better planning. Our mega cities, they are not only big industrial centers and trade and industry centers, they are also centers of administration, they are also centers of education, they are also centers for health infrastructure. So everything is getting concentrated at one place. If we can scatter the facilities, if we can provide these facilities at other places, probably the concentration of economic activities in some cities will not take place. Coming to the city part, the planning also needs to decongest the present cities. The cities are getting congested because the economic activities are getting congested there. So if we scatter the industrial activity, the residential activities will also have to be scattered, and then we will have to include more planning into these endeavors. If we have a look at the smaller block level towns or mandi level towns, we see complete absence of planning. Shops and shops, they are coming on roads, they are choking the roads. A small place takes 10 to 15 minutes to cross. There are big jams also on the roads. So a proper planning where the markets are planned and no one is required to station himself on the road is a need of the hour. So far as city infrastructure is concerned, we need to move away from big towns. We need to move to a model where the block level towns, they become the building blocks of the uh, country. Coming to the individual cities, all expert advice about handling the epidemic uh, revolves around building immunity. And in building immunity, regular exercises are an important part. For regular exercises, we need to provide more parks in the towns, in the cities that we build. And within the parks, within the towns, in case of any such outbreak, we will have to provide and ensure proper distancing. So that requires a relook at the pathways that are planned. I observed that normally they are 5 feet wide, the pathways into the parks. So they will have to be made wider. Maybe we have to think of 8 feet to 10 feet. And all the pathways in the have to be redesigned so that in case of any outbreak, people can exercise and also maintain the distancing. I also observed that in the expert advice is about consuming more, having more vitamin D, for which sun is an important source. But the current residences, if we have a look, not many of them provide natural sunlight. So there is something that is missing in these designs. And I have spoken to several architects why they design like that. And many architects have told me that the regulations from the local city councils, they don't allow them more areas into balconies. I think these regulations need to be relooked so that we can provide more space for balconies, and balconies should be treated differently from the main residences so that the citizens can have sunlight and their immunity gets built in the normal course. The restaurants also will have to be redesigned for future to deal with such outbreaks. I will be very happy if the restaurants are redesigned, because I feel that in their quest to attract more customers, the restaurant owners are cramping the space. There are several places in Delhi which fall on the Times list of good food guide. At times I can't make out whether I'm part of some adjoining seat or that they are a different seat. But they say that their costing does not allow them to create more space. Perhaps they could relook at their business model. They could plan for more takeaways so that their business does not get hampered. At the same time, those visiting them at their place can have a better experience. The restaurants, I feel, are going to be an important part of the city planning. Another area that I think the cities need to consider is what I call the neighborhood model. At present, what is happening is that the facilities are concentrated at various places in towns. There is a Sarafa Bazaar, there is a Sabji Mandi, then there is a cloth market. So if we have to buy cloth, then we go to one place. If we have to buy grocery, then we go to some other place. So concentration of customers at these bazaars are taking place. I suggest a neighborhood model where we have a relook at the city designs. We divide them into neighborhoods, and a neighborhood should be self-sustaining so far as the normal requirements are concerned. My day-to-day kirana, milk, bread, we should be able to, the fresh vegetables, I should be able to get them from the neighborhood. And accordingly, there are certain requirements which we need as larger groups. For them, we can have larger other places where these facilities can be provided. The neighborhood model could also have schools built in that, so that the students don't have to travel bigger distances. So this will not only reduce crowding at marketplaces and our commercial places, this will also reduce the requirement of travel for an average city dweller. So, and that will have a positive impact on the pollution levels in turn. So this is going to have a domino effect in my view. So the neighborhood model, we can call it the sectoral approach. I will suggest this, and I think we need to have a relook at our existing setups. Building on these neighborhoods, there could be facilities for the town. The sectoral approach we will have to take to the national level, because in this event of any such outbreak, we may have to isolate certain areas. States may have to be isolated, the cities may have to be isolated, but the interdependency about supply of goods and services does not let us do that. So there should be a conscious attempt that in case of any such outbreak, we are able to isolate our markets. So while normally we will function in an integrated manner, but in case of emergency, we should be able to cut off certain areas, and we should be able to function as standalone units. Ideally, a village should be that kind of a unit, but that may not be feasible. So I'll start with a block level of segment. A block should be able to be a self-sustaining unit. Then several blocks would constitute a subdivision, district, state, and that way. So depending upon the nature of outbreak and its geographical spread, we should be able to cut off areas without affecting the supplies of goods and services into those areas. A block, I will suggest that should have a minimum infrastructure. A block level of town should have hospital, a college, and unless for higher studies and specialized treatment, the people living in that area should not be required to travel to other parts of the country or other areas. So block will be our basic building block of urbanization. India, as we know, is urbanizing very fast, and most of it is urbanizing without any planning. In the urbanized planning, I see block as the basic building block, and I understand it was envisaged to be like that. And the healthcare setup, I would like to leave this area for the experts, but each of these places will have to have a suitable unit as part of the health administration. At the small places, we may have a dispensary. At other places, we may have some smaller hospital. At big places, we may have referral hospitals. Already we have set up all India medical institutes at various places. Perhaps every state will need to have them. And after that, every big town above the population of 30 lakhs will have to be provided with the bigger hospitals. But about location of health centers in rural areas, I have observed that they are being located by the states at places which are not accessible, so that the villagers can have easy reach. But at the same time, that creates a problem, because the doctors who are well educated and also want a life for them, they don't find the place very accessible. And my own observation is that the doctors don't reach such health centers, which are mostly run by the compounders and nurses. So I will suggest that we have a relook at the location of these primary health centers, which should be into easy access of the doctors and health workers also. The Madhya Pradesh government, I happen to look at advertisements where for doctors, they are asking them to join without any application. So there is such shortage of doctors because they are not willing to go to places where there is no life, which are not developed. So if we can develop smaller places, on the lines that I'm suggesting, we will have enough people going there. The number of health workers vis-a-vis the population, that also needs to be relooked, and we must provide health workers in the requisite ratio, and probably we need to set up new institutes. Additional seats may have to be sanctioned to those in medical education to provide for such health workers. A related topic, I think, is to have a relook at our industrial training institutes. These were set up when services were not an important part of our economy. Services have since become a very important part, and we haven't come out with, we haven't expanded these institutes to provide for training into services. So we need to introduce more courses into services also, which will include services relating to health sector also, so that we don't have shortage of health workers. Coming to the mental part, I think we need to we need to train people into handling such situations. This training, in my view, has to start from school level. We need to build more exercises into the curriculum, and those exercises should include how we conduct ourselves during disasters and also the epidemics or pandemics. I will also suggest for expansion of the National Cadet Corps into schools, and probably we may have to make them compulsory, so that each of us who have come through schools, we can build a certain degree of endurance, and we can face the hardships which are imposed by such pandemics. Another area where we need to work is public transport. Such situations call for the suspension of local transport, which is so essential to our daily lives. Our daily life should be disturbed as less as possible while handling these pandemics and while enduring them. So we need to have a relook at the design of our public transports. We need to, the engineers and need to change the design so that cross ventilation is provided in the vehicles, in metros, so that the chances of spread of any pathogens, they are reduced. So this is what I would like to say on this topic. I would like to summarize that we need to take steps which prevent occurrence of such epidemics. Sustainable development is the key driver, the key solution for that. And so far as enduring such pandemics is concerned, we need to redesign our industries. We need to decongest big cities. We need to take them to smaller places. We need to have integrated design and planning for industries. The business models should be not build on exploitation of labor. We need to create better profits by increasing their turnovers. So far as the cities are concerned, we need to avoid congestion in the cities. We need to provide for more parks. We need to widen the tracks. We need to redesign the restaurants. We need to redesign the healthcare setup. We need to introduce more steps into education to prepare students into that. That is the sum and substance of my thoughts at the moment.
So scholars, now the house is open for the question answer session. Yes, Surya is raising her hand, and please raise your hands digitally if anybody else wants to ask. Surya, you have already raised your hand, so you need not raise your hand digitally. You may ask question, yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. You're getting my voice, sir? Are you getting my voice, sir?
Yeah, we are listening to you.
Okay, sir, this is a very nice lecture, sir, very informative lecture. I am very thankful for, sir, that you given us a very nice lecture. Sir, as you told about COVID-19, that viruses or 4G, 5G, and you said lot of information that we have to change mega cities infrastructure, restaurant design, redesign. In that, I want to, my suggestion or my idea is, I just want to add that in childhood, my father used to say, this is, in old time, this was a field. Now here, everywhere is houses are there. So for agriculture, land is transferring into residential area. For this, I want some ideas that what should we do, because agricultural land, all are selling their agricultural land for residential area. We have to stop, we have to think something about that, sir. And next, my suggestion is that as you told that here, healthcare setup, I went after DAIC, I joined DAIC. After that, I went one primary health care center for some summary for reviews. There I found MBBS doctors. They have to training there for 2 years. But there are only one doctor for one village, one full block, sir. And I talked with him, and he told nobody are here, and they have problems. Nobody are coming here. Even they have to give training there. So what should we do for healthcare center for villages, sir? This too is my option. Next is you told for public transport, we have to change public transport. This also we have to think a lot, sir, because public transport is the main problem for global warming and climate change. So why should not most public has to use on more public transport only, not private transport? These are my suggestions, sir. Please enlighten that.
Sir, Ranga, sir.
Madam, first about agricultural land. Yes, that is an issue, but the issue arises from our rising population. We have the country's population has grown slightly above 5 times since the times of independence, and we have to feed our populations. So that requires more emphasis on agriculture. But luckily, so far we have been able to compensate for this loss of agricultural land by higher productivity which has itself been driven by technologies. We have we have been able to come out with better seeds. We have come out with the greenhouses, poly houses, where by which we can increase the productivity. So far we have been able to produce more than what the public requires, but that may not remain the situation in future if the population goes on rising. My own understanding is that to stop this population rise, we need to educate the public. There is agreement that population should not be rise. Population rise should not take place. The issue is what should be the methods by which we should stop it. Some people suggest very aggressive ways. My own understanding is, my uncle had a PhD on this subject, that if you educate people, then automatically the family planning takes place. So we need to place more emphasis on education so that family planning takes place automatically and our population also gets taken care. So far as loss of agricultural land is concerned, that can be compensated, as I said, by higher productivity and by use of technology. Agriculture is not, we have to junk this notion that agriculture is for the one who is not educated. It's a highly scientific subject, and more inputs from technology will have to come there. So far as healthcare centers are concerned, yes, I agree with you. I have already highlighted this problem for you, that the healthcare workers are not wanting to go to places which are not properly connected or where they cannot lead their own lives. Everyone is not wanting to sacrifice everything in life to serve people. People have their personal requirements, they have a family to take care, they want their children also to study. So we have to make a balance between our requirements, personal requirements, and our social obligations. This issue will not arise if we decongest the mega cities and if we can take a development to smaller places. I have given the example of block level towns. Most block level towns will be within a reach of 10 to 15 kilometers from every village. And it will be possible for those health workers to be able to travel to the nearby block level towns, provided the block level towns have that facility. Now, I guess they would need to travel much longer. Regarding public transport, in normal course, public transport is the solution to many problems that are being confronted by humankind. But in times of pandemic, what is otherwise a facility becomes a problem, because people get concentrated there, and that becomes a mode of spread of the virus. So while in normal course we need to take to public transport, but we need to think of an emergency mode where in times of such emergency, some people can shift to their private modes. Those who can work from home, to the extent that is feasible, they work from home, and we reduce the load on public transport, which itself is redesigned to provide for safety of the travelers.
Thank you, sir.
सूर्या दो बात मैं और जोड़ दूं सर की इजाजत से. I think you must have attended the meeting in the ministry, and when we were discussing healthcare in the villages
Yes,
with
sir.
the health ministry. So that time we came out with the solution that of course there is a scarcity of people, a scarcity of infrastructure also in the rural area. But suppose one doctor is available in the dispensary of a village, and the doctor is sitting there for the whole day, and you don't find many patients in the villages. That's the fact in India. So why don't we have the arrangement of the moving hospitals, mobile hospitals? We can have a moving van, and that van can be turned into a hospital or a dispensary, and that van can move up to 5 villages, 6 villages, or 10 villages in a day. The time may be fixed that 2 hours, the van will stay for 2 hours in the village, and it will treat the patient. So mobile hospitals and dispensary may be one of the solutions for the villages. Thank you. Any
Yes, sir.
other
Thank you, sir.
scholar? हाँ संतोष पूछिए प्लीज.
Can't hear you.
आप अपना अनम्यूट करिए. संतोष अपने आप को अनम्यूट करिए.
सर प्रणाम सर, बहुत ही अच्छा लेक्चर था. मैं दो चीजें मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा था, कुछ चीजों को. जैसे कि अभी आप लोग बात कर रहे थे, सूर्या मैम ने भी बात की थी कि जो है नगरीय या अर्बन क्षेत्र के अंतर्गत, तो उसमें हमको एक चीज याद आ रही थी. एक हम लोगों ने RTC, रूरल, टाउन और सिटी की बात करते थे. रूरल से किस तरीके से कस्बा बनता था और कस्बे से किस तरीके से सिटी बनता था, इस पे भी हम लोग कुछ, या फिर हम दूसरे परिप्रेक्ष्य में कहें कि अर्बन रूरल कंटिन्यूम की बात करें, तो उस पे जो विशेष तौर से कोविड-19 है किस प्रकार से जो है प्रभावित कर रहा है, प्रत्यक्ष या अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से. पहली चीज. सर दूसरी चीज, आपने कभी मुंबई का भी एक मेगा सिटी की बात की थी. हमको जहां तक याद आ रहा है कि किसी भी शहर को मेगा सिटी बनने में कम से कम 10 लाख या 10 लाख से अधिक की पॉपुलेशन होती है, तो उसको हम मेगा सिटीज के अंतर्गत कह सकते हैं. मुंबई महाराष्ट्र जो कि वहां की राजधानी है, और वहां की राजधानी के अंतर्गत एक बहुत बड़ा, जैसे चांद पे दाग होता है वैसे वैसे वहां पर एक धारावी है. धारावी एक बहुत बड़ा स्लम एरिया है. उस स्लम में भी आजकल जो हम देखने को भी मिलते हैं, पढ़ने को भी मिलता है कि दिन प्रतिदिन बहुत ही ज्यादा वहां पर जो है कोरोना के पेशेंट मिल रहे हैं. स्लम में जहां तक हमको पता है कि यदि हम कोविड-19 के जो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस के अंतर्गत फॉलो करने की बात करें, तो स्लम्स में पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी बहुत ज्यादा होती है, और जिसके कारण की सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग को हम लोग फॉलो ही नहीं कर पाएंगे. दूसरी चीज कि उनका जो बेसिकली जीविकोपार्जन का जो संसाधन है वो भी प्रत्यक्ष या अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से प्रभावित होता है. तीसरी चीज, यदि हम कहें कि वहां पर साफ वाटर, पीने के योग्य स्वच्छ जल भी नहीं उपलब्ध होते हैं, तो क्या सर हम लोग ये कोविड-19 के जो बेसिकली दो जो फॉलो रूल्स करने चाहिए, वो आजकल कैसे उनको कर पाएंगे फॉलो स्लम वाले स्टेजेस के अंतर्गत?
सर ये डॉक्टर संतोष जो हैं ये हमारे PDF स्कॉलर हैं, और ये कहीं आपके अगल बगल लखनऊ में ही बैठे हैं, तो लखनऊ से ही हैं ये, और फिलहाल लखनऊ में ही हैं, तो इनकी क्वेरी जरूर शांत कीजिए.
डॉक्टर साहब, आपकी जो सवाल है उसमें दो उसके बिंदु हैं. नंबर एक, वो आज की तारीख में कैसे कर पाएंगे. तो
सर?
आज की तारीख में जो लोग स्लम्स में या ऐसी जगहों में हैं, वो इन नियमों का पालन कैसे कर पाएंगे जो जरूरी है कोविड की सिचुएशन से निपटने के लिए. नंबर दो, भविष्य में इस तरह के हालात ना हो, जो मेगा सिटीज और स्लम्स उसमें ना हो. मेगा सिटीज जैसा कि आपने बताया कि एक दिन में नहीं बनता है, उसको बनने के अंदर टाइम लगता है. तो ये भविष्य में मेगा सिटी रहेंगे, ये मैं अज्यूम कर रहा हूँ आपके कथन से, और वो रहेंगे तो उनके अंदर स्लम्स भी रहेंगे, ऐसा मैं अज्यूम कर रहा हूँ. और रूरल एरिया से टाउन बनता है और टाउन से बड़े शहर बनते हैं, उनके बीच में एक कंटिन्यूम रहता है, वो आपने पहले कहा है. तो मैं जहां तक अभी वो कैसे पालन कर पाएंगे, हाँ उनको अभी पालन कर पाना इस हालात में मेरे ख्याल से कठिन है, पर जो अभी प्रशासन है मैं देख रहा हूँ कि वो जगह जगह पे वो साधन को पहुंचा रहे हैं. पर मेरी जो राय है इस सिचुएशन के लिए है, जो मेरे कई दोस्त अधिकारी जो प्रशासन में कई जगह पे काम किया है, मैंने उनको सजेस्ट किया था कि ऐसी जो जगह जो बहुत ज्यादा कंजेस्टेड हैं, उनको अभी हैंडलिंग के लिए उन लोगों को वहां से रीलोकेट किया जाए जो शहर के स्कूल हैं या जो दूसरी जगह हैं. तो किस हद तक वो संभव है वही लोग बता सकते हैं, पर अभी धारावी या और जो बड़ी जो भी शहर, हर शहर में इस तरह के कुछ हिस्से हैं, वो स्लम्स भी हैं, कई नॉन स्लम एरिया भी हैं, पर जहाँ पे पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी बहुत ज्यादा हाई है. हमको उन लोगों को टेम्पररली 2-3 महीने के लिए रीलोकेट कर लेना चाहिए अभी की हालात से निपटने के लिए. भविष्य के हालात से निपटने के लिए हमको एक ऐसा इकोनॉमिक मॉडल देश के लिए तैयार करना है जिसमें इस तरह की स्लम्स ना बने। स्लम्स में कोई क्यों जाएगा, हर कोई चाहेगा कि नरीमन पॉइंट के ऊपर वो रहे, लेकिन चूंकि उसकी जो इकोनॉमिक जो उसकी परचेजिंग पावर है, जो उसके वेजेस हैं, वो इतने नहीं हैं कि वो वहां पे जा सके। तो वो वेजेस वो कैसे पाए, वो ज्यादा वेजेस, वो वेजेस पाने के लिए मैंने कहा कि हमारे जो बिजनेस मॉडल्स हैं वो हमारे बदलने चाहिए, हम चीप लेबर पे बेस्ड नहीं होने चाहिए। तो जो लोग अभी उनको अभी उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं, अभी कम से कम उनको वो जिंदा रहने के लिए तो रख रहे हैं, तो हमें जो हमारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं उनकी हैंड होल्डिंग करवाई जानी चाहिए, जिससे कि वो बिजनेस मॉडल छोटे और चीप लेबर पे बेस्ड मॉडल्स के बजाय वो अपने स्केल्ड अप इकोनॉमी पे जाएं, इकोनॉमी ऑफ स्केल्स पे काम करें, और एट द सेम टाइम हम इन इंडस्ट्रियल सेंटर्स को दूसरी जगहों पे रिलोकेट करें, दूसरी जगहों पे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को क्रिएट करने की कोशिश करें। ये सारी चीजें आपस में जुड़ी हुई हैं, शिक्षा, डेवलपमेंट, खेती बाड़ी, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, हेल्थ, सड़क, जो हम रूरल एरिया की जो हम बात कर रहे थे कि रूरल एरिया से कस्बा बनता है, कस्बे से शहर बनता है, तो उसके लिए मैं समझता हूँ कि जो सड़क है, जो कनेक्टिविटी है, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। रोड्स आर आवर रोड्स टू प्रोस्पेरिटी। तो हमारी जो ओवरऑल जो प्लानिंग है नेशनल लेवल के ऊपर, उसमें जो रोड्स हैं, सड़क है, कनेक्टिविटी है, दैट मस्ट उसको एक बहुत ऊपर का उसको स्थान मिलना चाहिए। अगर एक बार कनेक्टिविटी हो जाएगी, जब एक आदमी गांव से कस्बे में जाने लग जाएगा, तो वो कस्बे में जाके अपनी सेवाएं दे भी सकता है, कस्बे की ले भी सकता है। तो गांव में मैं समझता हूँ कि वो बेसिकली एग्रीकल्चर के सेंटर्स रहे, और कस्बे से ट्रेड एंड इंडस्ट्री सर्विसेज हैं वो वहां पे शुरू हो।
और संतोष, मैं आपको एक चीज और बता दूं कि ये तो आज इस टॉपिक पे बोल रहे हैं, इनका इंटरेस्ट है, एंड ही इज ए वर्सेटाइल जीनियस, वरना ना ये लोग देश का खजाना लेके बैठे हैं और पैसे वैसे इकट्ठे करते रहते हैं बहुत सारे देश के लिए, और ये पता नहीं कहाँ खर्च करते हैं, ये हमें भी नहीं पता, ना बताते हैं ये लोग। IRS वाले सारे के सारे इतने सीक्रेट रखते हैं इन चीजों को, और इतना पैसा इकट्ठा करते हैं, पता नहीं पब्लिक को लूटने में लगे हैं ये लोग। बट अब हम जितनी बात धारावी की, एक बहुत अच्छा आइडिया सर ने दिया है कि ये जो रीलोकेट हम कर दें ना 2-3 महीने के लिए, बट सर मेरा रिक्वेस्ट आपकी जो सारी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव लॉबी है उससे ये भी है कि वो उनको कन्विंस किया जाए कि एक रीलोकेशन के लिए पहले हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तैयार कर लें, क्योंकि ऑल ऑफ ए सडन इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अस टू relocate 8 to 10 lakh people or more than that, and every city is having this problem. And number two, all suburb of the cities, अब दिल्ली का ही पेरीफेरी ले लीजिए आप, so it is nothing more than कुछ एरिया तो ऐसा, they are no more than a slum. उनको हमें we need to address them and we need to make them disciplined. हम disciplined नहीं है, हम नाली में कचरा फेंक के बाद में कहते हैं नाली रुक गई, और फिर चिल्लाते हैं MCD पे कि नाली रुक गई, ये लोग साफ नहीं करने आते। अरे भाई कचरा उसमें डाल कौन रहा है? सो वी नीड टू बी डिसिप्लिन्ड ऑल्सो। और मुझे बाबा साहब की वो बातें याद आती है उस समय जब वो कहते हैं कि एजुकेशन इज द की ऑफ एवरीथिंग। अगर हम एजुकेट कर देंगे और ठीक से लोगों को ये बात समझाने में कामयाब हो जाएंगे तो धीरे धीरे हो सकता है हम सब भी हो जाए, अभी तो हो नहीं पाए। यस, एनी अदर स्कॉलर?
डॉक्टर देवेंद्र, एक
जी सर।
जो आपने कहा कि IRS वाले पैसा पता नहीं कहाँ लेके जाते हैं, मुझे पता है आपने लाइटर वेन में कही है, बट मैं लाइटर वेन में ही मैं ये कहूँ क्या कि हम वो लेके कहीं नहीं जा रहे, हम वो आपको ही वापस दे देते हैं, हम सरकार को, कि वो लोगों के ऊपर खर्च करे। आपने एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की लॉबी का आपने नाम लिया है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में रहते हुए कि कोई एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में कोई लॉबी है।
जी चलिए सर, हम मान लेते हैं आपकी बात और आइंदा एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसर को उसी नजर से देखेंगे। यस फारुल, बोलिए आप।
Good afternoon, sir. I really enjoyed your lecture. But my hunch is that when we just talked about redesigning the infrastructure, and we are living in an era where there is a middleman culture, then how far we can assure the uniformity the moment we will talk about the redesigning of things? And the second thing is that the moment you discuss about that, like we need to strengthen the hospitals and the market situated nearby, then there is also one of the biggest challenge of the quality assurance. I mean, people usually move to King George Medical College or the AIMS not because like they love to travel, but because of the quality medical facilities. So I mean, I think these are the two things we just like, I mean, it is the biggest challenge when we talk about to redesigning the things and relocating the things. That's it.
थैंक यू मैडम। आपने दो मुद्दे उठाए हैं कि तो मिडल मैन कल्चर, दूसरा क्वालिटी का। तो मिडल मैन जहाँ कल्चर की जहाँ तक बात है, ये भ्रष्टाचार से जुड़ा हुआ मुद्दा है। भ्रष्टाचार क्यों होता है, उसको कैसे उसको दूर किया जाए, इसके बारे में हम खुद कई दिन तक इस पर बहस हो सकती है। इसके कई एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, इसके एथिकल एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, इसके डिमांड एंड सप्लाई के इसके एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, इसके लीगल रिपोर्ट्स अवेलेबिलिटी के इसके एस्पेक्ट्स हैं। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि इसके ऊपर काम हो रहा है, भ्रष्टाचार रोकने के ऊपर, और जो हालात हैं वो बेहतर ही हो रहे हैं दिन बाय दिन। पर इसको दूर कैसे होगा, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि जो ओशो ने कहा है कि बोध से हर कुछ संभव है। अगर हम ये समझ लें कि कोई चीज क्यों हो रही है, उसके बाद उसको ठीक करना आसान हो जाता है। तो अगर कलेक्टिवली, अगर पीपल ऑफ इंडिया, भारत के लोग अगर ये ठान लें, समझ लें कि हमने किसी चीज को करना है, तो वो होगा। तो जो मानव अभी बहुत नई टेक्नोलॉजीज, नई साइंस तो बहुत कम डेवलप हो रही है, तो ज्यादातर दुनिया है उसमें जो उपलब्ध ज्ञान है उसी को अप्लाई करके, उसी को इंटीग्रेट करके ही सॉल्यूशंस तैयार किए जा रहे हैं। तो हमको भी जो उपलब्ध ज्ञान है हमें उसको अप्लाई करना है और उनको डिफरेंट एरियाज में उसको इंटीग्रेट करना है। पर प्रशासन में एक मैं समझता हूँ कि एक मेजर तब्दीली की हमें एक जरूरत है कि जो स्ट्रक्चर हमने इनहेरिट किया था, जो 1947 में जो अंग्रेजों ने बनाया था, वो रूरल एरिया के ऊपर आधारित था। हमारे को ज्यादातर रूरल प्रॉब्लम्स, लैंड की प्रॉब्लम्स, वो उसके लिए था। अब 40% के करीब हिंदुस्तान, 40% के करीब हिंदुस्तान अब वो शहरों में, कस्बों में चला गया है। तो हमको जो स्किल्स हैं, जो हमारी ट्रेनिंग है, जो स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं, मेरे ख्याल से उनको एक बार रीलुक की जरूरत है, उसके ऊपर दोबारा से एक ध्यान देने की जरूरत है। और मैं समझता हूँ कि एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म्स के लिए जो कमीशन है वो स्टैंडिंग रहने चाहिए। और जो दुनिया है वो बहुत तेज गति से बदल रही है, रिक्वायरमेंट्स बहुत तेज बदल रही हैं। एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को एक एजिलिटी एक लाने की जरूरत है कि समस्या और समाधान के बीच में जो टाइम गैप है वो घटे, वो जितना जल्दी हो हम उसको दूर करें। जो टेक्नोलॉजीज जो अवेलेबल हो रही हैं हम उनका उपयोग करें। दूसरा, जो आपने क्वालिटी का जो मामला बताया था, तो क्वालिटी का मामला, क्वालिटी में दो, जो हेल्थ केयर की क्वालिटी है उसमें मैं समझता हूँ दो उसके पार्ट्स होंगे। नंबर एक, क्वालिटी ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, दूसरा जो क्वालिटी ऑफ मैन पावर। अगर ये दोनों सही हों तो ओवरऑल वी विल हैव अ बेटर क्वालिटी। जहां तक क्वालिटी ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की बात है, तो एक उनका एक ग्रेडेड सेटअप हेल्थ का है। सबसे नीचे प्राइमरी हेल्थ सेंटर होता है, बीच में एक और अस्पताल होता है, फिर रेफरल अस्पताल होता है। तो वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में क्या क्या कहाँ पे होना चाहिए, कहाँ खाली टेस्टिंग फैसिलिटी होनी चाहिए, कहाँ खाली डॉक्टर बैठना चाहिए, मुझे लगता है कि उसमें कोई ज्यादा कमी की जरूरत, ज्यादा दिक्कत वाली बात नहीं। दूसरी रही जो हमारा जो हेल्थ वर्कर्स हैं उनकी क्वालिटी की बात। मैं समझता हूँ कि जो हिंदुस्तान के डॉक्टर्स हैं वो दुनिया में विख्यात हैं अपनी स्किल्स के लिए। हमारी जो नर्सेज हैं वो पूरे मिडिल ईस्ट में वो विख्यात हैं। तो कुछ थोड़े बहुत जो लोग हैं, जो दूसरे कई सारे ट्रेड्स हैं जो नए नए अमर्ज हो रहे हैं, मैं समझता हूँ कि अगर हम अपने ITI का जो सेटअप है, जो उसको अगर हम रीलुक करें, उसके अंदर जो सर्विस इंडस्ट्री की जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं वर्कर्स की, उसको भी अगर हम वहाँ पे जोड़ें तो उसको डील किया जा सकता है। हाँ, मैं समझता हूँ कि एक ऑन द जॉब जो ट्रेनिंग है उस सेटअप को एक बार देखे जाने की जरूरत है। जो डॉक्टर्स की जो पढ़ाई होती है, जो MBBS में जो वो पढ़ते हैं, वो ज्यादातर टेक्निकल होती है, वो एनाटॉमी बायोलॉजी उसकी होती है, जबकि जो सर्विंग आदमी है उनको बहुत सारा एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का काम करना होता है, उनको बहुत सारे सर्वे करने होते हैं, कई लोगों की सैलरी डील करनी होती है। तो मुझे लगता है कि जो हमारे ट्रेनिंग सेटअप हैं उनको सबको रीलुक की और टोन अप करने की जरूरत मुझे यहाँ ज्यादा लग रही है। अगर टोन अप अगर रहेगा, और टोन अप के लिए ये जरूरी है कि हमारा जो सुपरवाइजरी सिस्टम है वो भी उसमें मजबूत रहे।
आई थिंक रमेश बाबू कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं? चलो लास्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम रमेश बाबू, and then we will end up the session. Yes, रमेश बाबू।
डॉक्टर अरविंद कुमार भी पूछ रहे हैं।
अच्छा, चलिए रमेश बाबू आप पूछिए, उसके बाद अरविंद कुमार जी से बात।
Sir, this is really very interesting lecture on reconstructing the cities and all. So my query is, how do we address the migration issue, especially in the cities, as you have been mentioning about the hotels and also transport system and all. Here, most of the things is, most of the time it is the migrant people who continuously migrate to the cities, continuously move one place to the other. So here, especially during this pandemic situations, how do we address the question of migration while reconstructing the cities and all?
मैं समझता हूँ कि लोग माइग्रेट कर रहे हैं, अगर people are migrating to the towns for better opportunities. Rather, some of the people are only at the subsistence level, even after migrating. So they are moving for either subsistence or for some better life. If we can provide them these opportunities close to their place of residence, then this migration will stop. And to prevent that, the economic activities must be spread throughout the country. And for spreading that, we have to create infrastructure all around. We have to build roads everywhere. So if we can spread the economic activity, migration will also stop. It is a consequence of how our economic activity is being carried out.
अशोक जी, अरविंद कुमार जी, आप पूछना चाह रहे हैं कुछ? अरविंद कुमार जी, would you like to ask any question? Are you around? All right, I think Varun now, yeah, is he around? No, all right, okay.
नहीं, वो शायद नहीं है।
Anyway, चलिए ठीक है. So I think if anybody